In 2025, the United States and China are locked in a multifaceted rivalry, often termed a new Cold War, characterized by escalating tensions across trade, technology, and military domains. This competition between the world's two largest economies and military powers is reshaping global alliances, supply chains, and the international order, with significant implications for global stability and prosperity. The US-China trade war, which began during the first Trump administration, has evolved into a complex struggle over global economic dominance. As of June 2025, President Trump escalated tariffs on Chinese imports to an effective 145%, before negotiating a temporary reduction to 30% for 90 days. However, the trade dispute extends beyond tariffs to a broader fight over global supply chains. The US is pursuing a strategy of decoupling from China, aiming to reduce dependence on Chinese manufacturing and restrict China's access to critical Western technologies. China has responded by intensifying efforts to achieve economic self-sufficiency. The Made in China 2025 initiative, launched to bolster domestic industries like robotics and next-generation IT, remains a cornerstone of China's strategy. Additionally, China has threatened to ban exports of key semiconductor components to the US, escalating the economic tit-for-tat. The technology rivalry between the US and China is a critical front in their geopolitical contest, with both nations vying for dominance in semiconductors, artificial intelligence, and other emerging technologies. The US has implemented stringent export controls to limit China's access to advanced semiconductors and AI chips, citing national security concerns over their potential military applications. The US has also extended these controls globally, pressuring allies like Japan, South Korea, and the Netherlands to limit China's access to strategic technologies. This has led to a fragmentation of the global technology landscape, with the world dividing into a Western technology bloc, led by the US, and a Chinese technology bloc. Such decoupling threatens globalization, as cross-border trade and technological collaboration become increasingly polarized. China is countering these restrictions by investing heavily in its domestic technology sector. With over $150 billion allocated to semiconductors, AI, and quantum computing through 2030, China aims to reduce reliance on Western technology. China's military modernization, driven by the People's Liberation Army, poses a significant challenge to US dominance, particularly in the Indo-Pacific region. With a 2024 defense budget of $223 billion, China is rapidly expanding its capabilities across land, sea, air, space, cyber, and electromagnetic domains. The PLA Navy, the world's largest with over 370 ships and submarines, is developing advanced aircraft carriers and nuclear-powered submarines. The PLA Air Force is modernizing with fifth-generation fighters like the J-20, and China is enhancing its space and counterspace capabilities, including anti-satellite weapons. China's nuclear arsenal is projected to exceed 1,000 operational warheads by 2030, and its focus on multi-domain precision warfare, cognitive domain operations, and cyber capabilities aims to counter a strong enemy and third-party interventions. The military-civil fusion strategy, elevated to a national priority in 2015, integrates civilian and military technologies, particularly in AI and quantum computing. The US is responding by strengthening its military presence in the Indo-Pacific and bolstering alliances with Japan, Australia, and India through frameworks like the Quad. The US is also investing in advanced technologies, including AI-driven systems and hypersonic weapons, to maintain its military edge. However, China's growing capabilities are narrowing the gap, raising concerns about potential flashpoints, particularly over Taiwan. In 2025, the rivalry extended to the Middle East, where the US accused China of enabling attacks by Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen, highlighting the global scope of their competition. China's joint military exercises with Egypt further underscore its expanding regional presence. The US-China rivalry is reshaping global politics, economics, and security. In the Indo-Pacific, the competition for influence has led to a bipolarization, with the US strengthening alliances like the Quad and China deepening ties with Russia and Pakistan. Smaller nations are increasingly forced to choose sides, complicating regional dynamics. The rivalry's global reach is evident in the Middle East, where China's expanding presence, including through the Belt and Road Initiative, competes with US security initiatives. Economically, the decoupling of US and Chinese supply chains is disrupting global trade, forcing companies to navigate a fragmented market. Global governance is also affected, with the US and China at odds over issues like climate change and cybersecurity, undermining multilateral cooperation. The fragmentation of the global order into competing blocs threatens long-term stability and economic growth. As of June 2025, the US-China rivalry remains a defining feature of global geopolitics, while trade negotiations offer a glimmer of hope for de-escalation. The deep-seated tensions in technology and military domains continue to escalate. The world stands at a crossroads, with the potential for both cooperation and conflict. The choices made by Washington and Beijing in the coming years will shape the global order for decades, determining whether this rivalry leads to a new era of stability or further instability.